Hello and welcome to episode 33 of The Legal Scoop. I'm your host, Brendan Shannon. I'm an associate attorney here at LOMAD. And if you're not familiar with this video series, this is the one where we discuss recent case law from the Third Department of the Court, or the Court of Appeals. And this month, I want to talk about a case from May, and that's Balseca v. Hudson Concrete. And the reason I want to discuss this one is not so much that it stands for any interesting proposition of law, because not every case is going to necessarily do that. There's maybe a handful per year that really do. This case to me is notable in what it's lacking and what we would want to see from the Third Department of the Court of Appeals so that we can use their case law to help predict outcomes in our cases. Now here, this is a fairly straightforward disallowed claim, or I should say controverted claim, that was initially disallowed by the WCLJ after the judge found that the claimant's testimony was not credible. Now, the board then reversed, finding the claimant's testimony credible. And the facts here are that the claimant testified that he fell from a ladder approximately 4 feet and injured 8 body sites. And this supposedly took place about 15 to 30 minutes before the end of his shift. Now, those are in and of themselves red flags that would typically warrant further investigation of a potential C7. And the claimant alleged that he reported the incident via certified letter, which was true. There was a certified letter the following day. However, what's notable is that the supervisor testified that on the alleged date of accident, the claimant finished his shift and came to him and said, "I'm quitting because I found another job." So supposedly, right after he injured 8 body sites, he went to his supervisor and did not report that he was injured, but simply said that he was quitting because he had another job. So there's clearly a notable discrepancy between what's being claimed and what was discussed with his supervisor at the time of the alleged incident. Now, the court, in this case, the Court of Appeals, the Third Department, found that substantial evidence supported the board's decision to establish this claim and to reverse the judge below's discrediting of the claimant's testimony, simply because the board is the sole arbiter of witness credibility, and that's language that's used in case law all the time in workers' comp. It's well known that the board is, again, the sole arbiter of witness credibility. Now, no one denies that, but the problem here, and sort of the issue that I have when I read this case, is that the court did not even remotely discuss the board's reasoning in finding the claimant's testimony credible after the WCLJ did not find it credible. And the board has discussed, in board panel case law, that judges, are to be given some level of deference when it comes to witness credibility because they're the ones at the hearing. So again, I'm not saying that, the board wasn't right to credit the claimant's testimony here. What I'm saying is that we wish there was a little bit more put into this decision so that we can assess whether substantial evidence really did support the affirmance here, because there is still this requirement that the decision to credit the testimony was not arbitrary and capricious. Again, obviously it's safe to assume that it was not, but when we look at case law, we want to be able to look at it and say, that gives us an idea of how to predict future outcomes and how to prepare for similar cases. And when the decision doesn't really go into that much detail, it's harder to do that. And what's also frustrating about this decision is they then basically did the same thing with the issue of causal relationship. There was a dispute between the two doctors. There was an IME that found no causal relationship and evidence of symptom magnification, which you would think would be fairly notable considering the discrepancies with respect to whether the accident happened and with respect to notice. But again, the court here said that the board, being the sole arbiter of witness credibility, including medical witness credibility, that substantial evidence supported its decision to establish this claim. So just kind of an interesting one. Kind of wanted to vent about something that can be a little bit annoying with reviewing these decisions sometimes. But hopefully next month we'll have a good one with, an interesting point of law to go over. We will be here again next month to discuss additional developments from the Third Department of the Court of Appeals. If you like this video or you're interested in any other videos we have here at LOMAD, please subscribe below, and I will see you next month.